Welcome, brothers, to a brief introduction to the accounts program. I'll be using Excel 2007 and the North American English Accounts Program version 11.7.3 in this demonstration. As you can see, when you open the program, the help page will be displayed. I suggest that you read this at your own pace, and you'll pick up a lot of tips and tricks that it'll help you to use the accounts program more effectively and easily. Okay, I know you're anxious to get started, so let's begin by navigating. And to do so, if you look down at the bottom of the screen, you'll see some colored tabs. The green ones at the left are for the congregation accounts use. The blue one, the S44, that is for the operating committee, and the operating committee also uses the green S26 as well. Then there's the help tab, and then there's two red tabs, the S30R and the S44R. Now these are for customized reports that you can customize yourself, and there's a separate video to explain how to use those. Then there's the orange tab, and this is for the RBC. They have a 3-page S26 and a S93 form. And so to get to any of these forms, the only thing you have to do is click on it, and then they come up. And here we start with the accounts sheet. This is also known as the S26 form. And this is where 99% of all your entries will be made. All numbers and descriptions that you enter on this form will flow automatically to all the other forms. As you can see, when you first get the program, there'll be a number of these colored balloons. These are called callouts, and they kind of give you information regarding the program that you need to know without having to look in the instructions. And they're deletable by the user, and so they won't be in your way. So just click on the edge of the balloon and then hit the delete key. I'll delete these now so they won't hinder our demo. Okay, we'll do this one too. Okay, here we have the S26 form, and you'll notice that there are some red triangles, and what they are is called mouse rollovers. As you can see, when I put the mouse over it, different things pop up telling you about those fields. And you'll see these red triangles throughout the program, and they're there just as extra road signs in order to help you determine what to do with that form in that field. Okay, let's begin by inputting some data and some numbers. First, you click on the top and change your congregation name to the actual congregation name. In this case, we'll call it Wild West. And then you put your city in. Dry Gulch. And that's in Texas. And let's say the month we're working with is March. In the year 2015. Okay. Now we've got that taken care of. That automatically flows to all the other forms. Now to input your descriptions and TC codes, there's two ways to do it for most of the versions of the programs. You can type it in longhand, or you can copy and paste it from an existing typed description. Unique to the English North American version, we have a third way, and that's using the TC code automatic fill-in feature. And that is, you just simply type in the TC code, in this case W, and you'll notice that the description pops up for you. And C, again, it pops up for you. So we just put the dates in. We'll put the date in. And the amounts, 100, and let's say 200. And that will be one meeting's receipt. Okay. Let me show you another way to put in descriptions if you don't have the one key automatic fill-in feature. You can simply highlight whatever's there and do a copy and paste. Control C, go down to here and hit enter and say yes. And I could put that as date is really the 4th. Okay. Okay. And then we'll put the deposit. It's 500. And there we have 2 meetings receipts and the deposit for those receipts. You can also type in longhand. We'll do type anything you want and then type in your TC code. Oops. I like to use capital letters for the TC codes because they show up better. Okay. And don't forget to put the date. There. That's basically how you do it. Let's add a couple of expenses. I'll use the automatic code. Let's say H. That's for our, put the check number. This is for our congregation share of things like the electricity. We're sharing it with 2 other congregations. So each of us puts in our share. And let's see, the expense is $450 a month. Okay, one other expense, we got circuit overseer visit. We'll put the V. Put the check number, 1579. And his amount was 155. Okay. Now you're saying to yourself, that's all well and good, but what happens if our circuit overseer's name is not William Jones and our operating committee is not the Pleasantville and Rock Hill Operating Committee Fund? Good question. That's changed in the transaction legend over here. And I'll show you how to do that real briefly. In the next video, we'll go into more detail on it. But you'll see the transaction legend to the right of the S26 form. You'll notice that there's 2 columns. The left column are the descriptions that'll show up in the S26, and on the right column are the descriptions that'll show up on the S30 and the S44. The top portion of the transaction legend under the green bar are for funds going into the checking account. That would be income. And then down below, under the red bar, that would be funds going out of the checking account, such as expenses. So here, you'll notice there's a column for the TC codes, and then the various descriptions to the left. We'll go here on the H TC code, and see here it's got Pleasantville and Rock Hill. Well, here's where you would type in the name of your particular expenses. Same thing with the circuit overseer's name. That's where you would change it. And any changes that you make on the transaction legend will automatically show up on the S26 and the other forms as well. And I suggest that you make all these changes on your congregation master. That way you don't have to change them for every month when you're inputting your data. That'll already be set up for you each month. In addition to your normal expenses that you pay by check, you also have to send the wire to the society, and that's done on the second page of the S26. And you'll notice that down here, this transfer number and date are entered on the TO62 form. And you can delete this call out as well. And here we have our various, the worldwide work, that gets added up automatically from all the transactions that you input earlier. And then the various resolutions that you have set up monthly are input here. And this too will be done on your congregation master that you would start with each month, so that the amounts will be already added in there for you. So let's just say for worldwide resolution, this month you have a $50 resolution. So you put that in there. Then there's the KHAH construction worldwide. That one is $852 a month. Then there's the global assistance arrangement. That one's $95 a month. And then TOAA, traveling overseer assistant arrangement. That one's $84 a month. Then there's payment on charges of account. We don't have any. Then there's additional category if needed. We're not using that. And then there's the vehicle expense to TOAA. That's if we wish to pay for the circuit overseer's gasoline in addition to what we reimbursed him for. So let's just say we do, and we'll put $24 there. And then down below are funds on deposit with the society. Currently we have none on hand with the society, and we're not going to add any more to that, so we'll just leave that zero. Go down here to the reconciliation part, and you have to input any balance forwards from the previous month. So start with the receipts. We don't have any balance on the previous month, so we'll leave that zero. And then the ending balance of the checking account last month, we'll put that in the beginning here, and that was $4,795. Okay, and then for the branch, that too is zero, so we'll leave that blank. If you drop down below, you'll see here that little blue box. That's just a cross check to see that you're inputting everything correctly, and that should zero out. And if it's zero, then you're doing pretty good. Okay, let's go back up to the top. Now let's take a brief look at the other forms. We'll drop down and click on the S30. And here we see the numbers and descriptions that we put in the S26 show up automatically. The balance forward shows up here. The various receipts for the month show up in the proper area. And then here are the expenses, congregation share of the operating committee, and so on, the various resolutions. In this case, we have a deficit for the month and the ending balance resulting. You notice to the right of the form is a red call out. This is important. You'll notice this red box has zero amount, nothing in there. So that's good according to this description. This should be zero. If there's a number in here, then go back to the S26 and see if you put a proper TC code in, or maybe you put the amount in the wrong column. But this box here should always be zero. That's just a little cross check to make sure you've done the S30 correctly. Okay, and you see all the totals compute all the way through. And also don't forget to put in, you can type your type your name in there so you don't have to do it by hand month after month. And you'll see the bottom of the S30 is all completed for you. So the only thing you have to do is, once you've reconciled everything with the bank account, is click on each form's print button and print them out. Now let's take a look at the TO62. Here we have to put the X for our congregation. That's already done. Here is the website address here, and we're going to check the cross check on this page is also here. In this case, this number should be equal to the number on the S26. Okay, $1,455 is what we have here as our total here. Let's go back to the S26, click on the green tab, and we'll page down, and in line 82, this is the amount that the wire transfer is going to go to the society, $1,455, so that's correct. Let's go back to the TO62 and do the actual wire transfer to the society. What we do is we click over here on the blue www.jw.org, and that'll bring us to the screen to sign in, and that way we can do our wire transfer. Once you've done the wire transfer, you'll be typing these numbers onto the website form, and it should come up to the same $1,455. Once you've gone through that process and you've printed out a receipt, that transaction confirmation number and time and date will have to be input. So let's just say we did the entries for March. So this will be April. We type in 04/ we'll do the 3rd of the month /15. Enter. And then we did it. We'll put the time in. This is a 24-hour clock, so we'll go 1400 and then :25. Enter. That's 2:25 p.m. And then the receipt said our receipt was 3789456. Okay. So now if you look to the left, you'll see that these numbers that we just typed in here automatically fill into the form. We can get rid of that yellow arrow by clicking on it and hitting delete. There you go. And you see here the form confirmation number fills in for you, as well as the time and the date. The only thing you have to remember to do is type your name in down here and go up to the top and click on the print the form, and you're done. Let's take a look back at the S26 and see this confirmation number and the time and the date will automatically flow right here. See, on line 82, these numbers automatically fill in. That was a problem with a lot of brothers. They kept forgetting to put that transfer number and the date that it actually went out on the S26. So this is done automatically for you now. Well, that'll conclude our brief intro to the accounts program. Be sure to watch the other videos, especially the one setting up the congregation master. That'll help you a lot. Okay, well, thank you for joining us.